All right, welcome back, Scorpion. Wait, I'm Scorpion 72. Welcome back with TCL. So, this before I get into my other videos and stuff like that, I want to get on the topic that's been going around for the last week or two. Is the fact that the licenses are expiring soon, which is next year, 2024. No, sorry, 2025. And the main one that's popping up is the Mcfarlane license for the DC and some of the stuff for Hasbro. So I've seen a lot of the content creators and stuff that discussing about whether McFarlane might get the Marvel license or maybe even Star Wars. Doesn't seem that the Ghostbusters is going anywhere. G.I. Joe is definitely not going anywhere from Hasbro. Hasbro is doing an excellent job in G.I. Joe. I just wish I could got it because I grew up with G.I. Joe and the small G.I. Joe figures and stuff. So I would really love to collect that line, but that line's just blown up. Now if I try to get it, forget it. I have to be like a millionaire to catch up at this point, especially you've already like 2 halves passed. So speculation is that it's possible that Hasbro might get DC and Marvel will go to McFarlane. How I feel about that is that I hope it doesn't happen that way, because the last time we had like a top of the line, I remember it's like 2013, so I remember it's at that San Diego Comic-Con. Mattel announced that they're stopping the DC Classics. I think I had like semi like shock and stuff like that, because that's my first San Diego Comic-Con. That's not something I want to go in and hear at that time, is that a line is going to be stopped. They tried to do Signature Series. It picked up their stride just around the end of 2019, but then McFarlane got it. First time McFarlane's gotten a major license, as he always speculates and says. Actually, he always says at all the cons and stuff like that. He's the only one that didn't have any of the big 3, which was Star Wars, Marvel, and DC. Fast forward 4 years later, he's got the DC line, doing phenomenal. Some people are happy, some are not, but the main thing is the majority of people are happy because the figures are selling. A lot of them are selling out. A lot of them are becoming harder and harder to get. When this line first started, there was no problem finding figures for the first 2 years. After that, forget it. Like now, it's almost next to, I won't say next to impossible, but it's become more of a challenge, especially with the whole gold label and different platinums. And you got real collectors jumping on that want to collect this line. You got scalpers who just want to buy up the platinums and resell them and stuff like that. And then you got others that just getting extra so they can trade for figures they may have missed out on, and figures they may not have gotten. That being said, he's done a lot with vehicles and stuff. Who knows? He's heard people complain they don't have space for a lot of vehicles, so it might be reason why we might see any play sets of the 7-inch scale. Then again, he could be doing that because he is testing out, I believe it's Game of Thrones, so it's a cardboard cutout. I'm for a cardboard cutout if it's not too pricey. I'll take a cardboard cutout like how Extreme's display dioramas are doing with their cardboard cutouts of cities and stuff. I'll take a headquarters, the Hall of Justice of that, or Darkseid's headquarters, or any of the Justice Society headquarters. I'll take a cardboard cutout of that because it's light, you can move it around, it's not heavy, and the real estate space, it's up to you if you want to build it and put it somewhere or not. With the vehicles, he can keep the vehicles going. I don't mind that. It's something we never gotten from Mattel. As much as people like to praise the DC Universe Classics line, it was very shortcomings of vehicles for any figures, even motorcycles. They didn't even do any vehicles or play sets when they had that line for so long, and it's a shame. So if he does lose the license for DC, it would suck, but I don't think he is. I think he might still keep it. I hope he still keep it because he's doing has a big momentum now, and to stop and have it switch over to somebody else, I'm not about to start over again to collect a new DC line. I took a chance on the McFarlane one because I almost didn't get it, and I saw the figures, I tried it out, and the only reason I went for that was because of the Fortnite figures. I saw how the articulation were improved from the way he did the Spawn figures and mostly statues. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to get that. The next thing is that with the momentum he's building now, DC, I'm sure Warner Bros. Must be pretty happy with the money he's bringing in between like figures, vehicles. Maybe he'll let go of a DC direct line, let somebody else do the animated 6-inch series. Maybe the superpowers, so let somebody else do that. Like, Spin Masters, if they take over the superpowers line, then who knows what they can do. Spin Masters, if they get the full DC line, will they do 6-inch or 7 figures? How well will it be done? We don't know, because that's the other company that has part of the DC line now for the figures, the Spin Masters. If Hasbro gets it, we already know it's gonna pretty much be definitely the same bucks, little to next tooling, and the figures would be 6 inches. People always wanted that. Oh, I want them to be the same size on the shelf. Back in the 80s and 90s, nobody really cared about the size of the figures, big or small. Everybody collected. Star Wars didn't really match G.I. Joe. Well, they kind of matched a bit G.I. Joe, but not in articulation. Transformers were bigger than in humanoids, and you can go on and on. That nothing really matched. And back then, nobody really cared. You just collect what they like. So with that being said, Hasbro gets it. It'll join up with your Marvel Legends, but it will be able to be compatible with the Marvel Legends that you have at that point. Because if they give up the Marvel line and say Mcfarlane gets it, then you could expect Mcfarlane to do 7-inch Marvel figures, which I think would be really, really cool and stuff, because we've seen what he's been doing with the DC line. Say what you want, it's pretty well done. It's really, really cool. And I think that might be the direction he's heading in. The fact that he's doing these PVC statues of the Marvel covers, it's like testing the waters to show what he can do. And he's already, I think wave 2 and 3 are already hitting stores. So not only he just recently had this out, like say July, or announced it, he's already got up to 3 waves out before the end of the year. The thing about Mcfarlane's company is that a lot of times you see pre-orders of figures that are supposed to come out, and within the next month to 6 weeks, it's out. Like, he's already made them and stuff like that. Sometimes I wonder what the pre-orders are for, because the figures are pretty much already on their way. So he's quick at turnover and bring out figures. What will happen is what we're seeing with the DC line, if he gets the Marvel line, is that's going to be an onslaught of figures. There's going to be a lot of Spider-Mans, you know that. If there's a lot of Batmans in DC, he's going to make a lot of Spider-Mans, different versions of Spider-Mans, which you probably got Marvel Legends, Captain America's, Iron Man, different Iron Man suits. The bigger guys, he's going to make them into, what you call them, the mega figures and stuff. The plus thing that will happen if he gets the Marvel line is that we will get vehicles, motorcycles stuff. Marvel Legends just now kind of started with the small vehicles and the motorcycles and stuff in the last couple of years. It's been trickling here and there, but if Mcfarlane gets it, he's going to blow it out with probably doing like a Quinjet, which people have been really asking for. 7-inch style Quinjet is going to be kind of hard to do, but if it's done where it can come apart, or can be modified where it be fitable on your shelves and stuff, he might just do it. Or it might just be like a one figure type ship or something like that. Fantastic Car, he'll definitely do a Fantastic Car for sure, with a Fantastic Four if he gets the license and stuff. It's just a matter of the companies want one person doing 2 of the competing main comic book and lines out there, which is Marvel and DC. The movie figures, there'll be a hit or miss, because a lot of times movie figures don't really come with that well with the likeness. So that would be a different thing if he gets the Marvel line. Yeah, so it's weird. And of course, Hasbro could still keep the line. Nothing could change. Everybody could keep the line. Maybe, I don't know, NECA has been a rocky ship lately. Like, Gargoyles has been silenced or something like that. Turtles is their biggest thing running, and now with this whole thing with the sewer lair business and threatening people who don't return the sewer lair, they're not good companies with a lot of the customers and fan base right now. So I don't know how their pitch would go to get, like, say, a DC line or a Hasbro line. They had a chance to do the DC line a couple of years ago. The figures were pretty good, but my only thing with NECA is that they have quite a higher QC issue than Mcfarlane does. And the other thing is, it would take a lot longer for them to get some of the figures that we want. Look at a couple of years, because if you look at the Turtles line and say even the Gargoyles line, they got some of the main characters are pretty quick, but to get like an abundance of DC Universe characters, which is like thousands of them, and to fill up your shelves, it will take a while. Some people don't mind that. Some people do. I like the pace that the DC line is going right now, Mcfarlane, but I feel it's a little too much, too fast, because you have a short time to appreciate the figures that come out before the next batch come out. Like when he first started this line, he said it'd be 5 waves each year and stuff like that, which is fine. And a year and a half, we were getting like figures on top of figures on top of figures. I remember one end of the year 2 years ago around this time, it was just figures upon figures upon figures at the GameStop and at the comic book stores. It was like a ton. And then you open them and you play around them and you put them on the shelf, and then you're ready for the next batch. So I think that's the only thing that I find a little bit challenging, is that you get the figure, but you have to allocate your time to check the figure out and to have the enjoyment of the figure. Like Marvel Legends, you have it kind of spaced out a little bit better. But like I said, he gets this line, any line he does, he bangs them out. Now the thing is that when you get to unique characters and stuff, like he's doing DC, because the thing with the Mortal Kombat line, it started off okay, and then he started throwing in Spawn into everything and repaints and repeats, and we never got. There's no company out there, even the Storm Collectibles, has come close to completing even the first like 12 characters from the first game. Nobody's done it yet. I think maybe was it Hasbro when they did it in the G.I. Joe size, but they just used the old bucks from G.I. Joe, and it wasn't really the Mortal Kombat in their actual suits that they made figures of. But nobody's really gotten to like the main females out there, like both females, even Sonya. Like we haven't got a Sonya figure. I think one company did Sonya figure. But yeah, like nobody's really completed the Mortal Kombat lines. Always like they start off with Liu Kang, Raiden, and then you have the ninjas. Always bam, 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 ninjas, and then you have some of the bigger figures. And that's one surprising things too about Mcfarlane is, I'm trying to talk too fast, but it's like I was very surprised that Mcfarlane didn't do any BAF figures for Mortal Kombat. He did for Warhammer, he did for Witcher, done for DC and stuff. I was very surprised that we never got a Goro, never got Motaro, or any of those big guys that you see in Mortal Kombat. We never got them from him, which is very, very shocking. Whether or not he has the license again or who gets it, I don't know, because Mortal Kombat's been very hush hush and hold back on anybody making any Mortal Kombat figures. So it could go to Data Toys, which they're doing a phenomenal job on Street Fighter. They could get the DC license, they could get the Hasbro license. Overall, I think the main one that will be up for grabs that maybe Disney Hasbro want to give to somebody else would be the Star Wars. The Star Wars line has been struggling. The price points at Toys R Us here, it's all over the place. Like $60 for a figure that's normally $35 is crazy. No, I'd say $69.99 for Boba Fett on retro carded Boba Fett. $69.99. That's $20 more than their G.I. Joe retro card, which I have at $44.99, and GameStop has at $35. So you're talking like double the price for the Boba Fett on retro carded. A lot of the Star Wars figures are just priced out for collectors. Like a lot of them I see, they're just waiting for sales, and even the sales barely even bring it worthwhile to buy. So I do see, if anything, the Star Wars license being given to another company, whether it's going to be Jada, Spin Masters. That could be one main one that goes to Mcfarlane. Who knows? Maybe Mcfarlane makes a pitch for Marvel and Star Wars and gets them both. That would be a lot on his plate, but in the end, he's doing so much other stuff, like between the sports, the anime, DC, DC Direct. He's shown that he can handle quite a bit on his plate and deliver the product, and deliver it pretty fast in record time, and the distribution of it is pretty wide. You can either get it from a store, GameStop, Target, Walmart. We don't have a Target here, so we have Toys R Us. So it's a possibility that might happen. And it's also a possibility he might just say, oh, you know what, I'm kind of tired with the DC line, and go give somebody else. And I don't know who will get it, if we'll get the same type of figures, go deep dive. Like he's doing the movie figures that Mattel never touched on, a lot of the movie figures from back in the 90s, and all the Batman movie figures, the movies that came out. They never really completed a lot of teams, so it's hard to say what happened. I guess we just have to wait and see. I think the pitch for the new licenses start just before Toy Fair or something, so it's like February, March, after the holidays. So we'll see if he gets it for another 2 years. I think it's on a 2-year run or 4-year run. I can't remember. I think it's every 2 years. They have to renew and have to go and give the same pitch and say, hey, this is what I want to do, blah, blah. But it would be nice to get a fresh perspective on Star Wars if Mcfarlane gets it. I think Marvel should stay with Hasbro because it's been there so long. I don't think the Hasbro collectors would really be keen on starting over again. Mcfarlane can keep the PVC statue line. I think you go really far with that. You can build an amazing portfolio with that in another year or two. You can have an amazing shelf full of like Marvel characters based off comic book art and comic books and stuff. So that might be his spot. Maybe give him like a New York Comic Con or San Diego exclusive chance to do a figure done by his art, like Spider-Man versus Venom, or anything he did in his art style or something like that. Give him a chance to do like a 2-pack, but only as exclusives, and it has to be the 7-inch scale. I don't know how that interferes with Diamond Select, because Diamond Select still has a Marvel license too, and they still doing 7-inch figures, and they bumped up their articulation, sculpting and stuff. But these figures, some of them look better than the Marvel Legends figures that Hasbro's doing. So we don't know if they're going to keep that line too, because they haven't put out too much Marvel stuff lately either. It's been very slow and here and there. So we don't know what's going on with that. So let me know what you guys all think in the comments. Do you think Mcfarlane should just like keep going to DC, give up the DC, get DC, keep DC, and grab Marvel or grab Star Wars, or maybe just grab the Star Wars line? I think he should maybe just try to grab the Star Wars line. I know he'll love to get a chance at Marvel, but I think there's a stronghold of Hasbro for the Marvel line and stuff, especially the upcoming movies and Secret Wars. It'd be really hard on fans if they have to switch over to a different scale when they have all these other movie 6-inch figures in their collection. Switch over to a bigger scale. Because Mcfarlane, unless he decides he's gonna actually stick to the same scale, and that would just blow everybody away if he stick to the same 6-inch scale just to be in scale with all the other Marvel Legends. That might be the only clause I see Disney Hasbro putting in there, is that you gotta keep this the same height, and then you can have the license. If that happens, then all for it. Whether I'll start collecting or not, I don't know. Back in Marvel Legends, I keep jumping in and out. I've been out for so long now, since last 3-4 years since this DC line started. I haven't collected Marvel Legends and stuff. Same thing with Masters of the Universe. I kind of like done with that, even though it's a fun line to get. And Super 7 is still sticking with Thundercats and Silverhawks. So I don't know what they're gonna do anymore. So the Ultimates preview pre-orders and Ultimate figures have been not showing up as much in the last couple of months too. That's another company that's been pretty like low-key, just doing repaints and not having any announcements for any figures and stuff. I think they're supposed to announce the next wave or the next Ultimate line of figures. There's supposed to be another line of Silverhawks figures for November or something, and that never happened. Like wave 4 or something, that never happened. So I don't know what's going on there. So it's hard to get lines these days, because you never know which company is going to be around, how far they're going to go, how deep they're going to go, and if you get a complete collection of these companies that are starting up with one of your favorite like comic book genres and stuff like that. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, help hit the little bell notification so you know when I put up another video. I'll catch you in the next ones. My old TCL, Scorpio 72, signing out. Ciao.